Preparing to live stream. I'm like more nervous than I was before. Oh God. Oh, whatever.
That's streaming live now on mine.
Oh, I think we might be live.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. I have to like quiet it on my end. Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This was totally unexpected and not at all the plan. We were supposed to go live on Instagram, but Instagram is having its issues. So YouTube is our backup. And I'm actually kind of excited about it because then you guys can watch this back as much as you want. I have the beautiful one and only Molly here from Bump Bestie. And so I would tag her here on the screen, but instead I'm going to tag her below. We'll do some show notes at the end. But the goal of us getting on here is to, first of all, answer your questions that you have. I put out a poll on Instagram. So if you don't follow me on Instagram, go over to Instagram. It's at Bundlebirth. If you don't follow her on Instagram, go over there and follow her at Bump Bestie. And we're going to be talking all things baby products today, right? Unless you have some other random, I'm sure it'll trail off into like all sorts of other little things.
Yeah.
But we're focusing on baby products you need for having a newborn / a child. If you have questions, you can throw them in the chat box. I will have that open over here. It's delayed on my end, so it like looks really funny. But you can feel free to throw in all the comments. Oh my gosh, I see you all already. This is insane.
Okay.
You're the best. Wow, I'm so impressed with you guys for being so flexible and going with the flow with me on this one. Thank you, Instagram and social media, for that piece. So before we get into it, Molly, if you would just introduce yourself, tell us who you are, tell us your background, tell us what you do, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a long story. First of all, I just have to acknowledge I'm so excited. This is my first YouTube introduction.
Like my first YouTube connection live. This was totally a wing it, guys. So I'm sorry if this ends up like looking funny or whatever, but we're doing our best over here.
All good. So as Sarah said, I'm Molly. I started a company, Bump Bestie, about 3 years ago. I got pregnant, and in my search to find and prepare for all things baby, I just went down that rabbit hole that I'm sure many of you have gone down, of Google searches, Amazon reviews, talking to friends, YouTube videos, and just trying to figure out what products were best for me. I had a hard time figuring that out. Just because this is an industry that you pay no attention to until you have to. So you spend your entire life, and then all of a sudden you have this short window to prepare for what I think is the most important transition in your life. And I started thinking about, gosh, like people outsource all the time. Wedding planners, financial planners,
Totally.
planners, housekeepers, you name it. Why wouldn't someone work with a person for, such an important, crazy, life-changing moment? So that was kind of my like aha light bulb that went off. And so it presented an opportunity for me to work from home, but also support families. And I've become so passionate about supporting families in this journey, especially in the pregnancy journey, because so much focus is on the postpartum period, but not a lot on the kind of anticipatory part. And asking the right types of questions. So I work with families to curate their registries or their shopping lists. I also work with families really through like their return to work period. So kind of strategizing on what that postpartum support looks like and helping them answer the questions in a way that empowers them and gives them peace of mind, because so many people we're all working, we're all trying to balance, work with our personal lives and our partners. And so going into this like huge life-changing moment, especially as a first-time parent, feeling super prepared and ready to go, which I feel like so many parents go into just not knowing enough.
Right.
For me, if I could do it over again, there would be a number of things that I would change.
Like what?
Well, the big thing is the nutrition, the postpartum
Mm.
kind of nutrition aspect, I
Mhm.
didn't realize like just how depleted I would be.
Mm.
And so we weren't really prepared for that. And we were ordering food, and it was food that probably wasn't the most like healing or like nutrient dense and things like that. It was just like kind of like on the go, or I wasn't eating enough. And no one, I mean, besides my husband at the time, it's just so many things going on. I didn't have
Yeah.
someone like, all right, it's time for you to sit down. It's time for you to eat and like focus on yourself for a minute.
Mhm.
So that's one piece. Another one is I definitely would have had a birth doula. Definitely, definitely, definitely. That was
Yeah.
like a big loss for me. The other thing too that I bring up to clients is I would have had a birth photographer in the hospital room.
Yeah.
Like there is nothing more beautiful than these
Mm.
stunning,
I
raw,
know, right?
like moments.
I'm obsessed. Yeah.
Obsessed. And my husband,
Yeah.
I mean, the pictures that we have are just so terrible. It's so sad. So that's another thing just that you don't really think about. And it feels
Yeah.
very like, ooh, I don't know if I need someone in the room with me, but honestly, you don't even notice them
They're a fly on the wall. Totally.
fly on the wall. And they're just so like beautiful. And I regret not
Mhm.
doing that. So
Yeah. Okay. Great.
yes.
Beautiful. Keep going with your story.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry.
So anyway, so through kind of postpartum, figuring out what that plan looks like, I host various like events and workshops, and I'm really passionate about creating a low toxic, non-toxic environment in your home for baby. That's another
Mhm.
area that I learned so much about. Obviously, I live in Los Angeles, we live in LA, so a lot of people have, just kind of probably around the country have made, cleaning, swaps and things, but
Mhm.
I didn't know that so much of your furniture or just materials and fabrics and woods and things like that also contribute to your indoor air quality, which is up to
Mhm.
4 times higher indoors than it is outdoors.
Mhm.
So working with parents to kind of navigate that. And then more recently, what I'm really excited about is partnering with companies to offer my services as benefits, because I think we're finally seeing
Like
companies
actual
realize that
medical benefits, like through their insurance?
not through insurance,
Okay. Okay. I was like, girl,
subsidized,
I need to know.
no, no, subsidized or covered by the employer. Um,
Okay.
because
Cool.
we all love like a kombucha bar in the kitchen.
Mhm.
A
Mhm.
lot of people would actually prefer
Yeah.
a little more
Like,
family planning and life assistance.
right. Right.
So,
Right.
so I'm excited about that and kind of hopefully
Cool.
expanding that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, amazing. Talk about like all the things. And I love how this coronavirus pandemic situation has forced us all, myself included, to really innovate and still be able to provide the same as much of the same quality of services and
Yeah.
benefits as you did before. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And
So,
so most of your stuff you can do virtually too, right?
yes. So I started out virtually. I do in-home
Oh, okay. Yep.
service, as it
Mhm.
calls to do that. But for the most part, everything is virtual. So I work with people over video conference just like this. So it's
Great.
nice. I haven't really had to shift my
Yeah.
model or change things around as much as
Mhm.
others have. But it's been such an interesting, awesome time to see how many people in the birthing community are now kind of coming together, and figuring out ways to support
Mhm.
family during this time, where you have these birth
Yeah.
plans, you have these postpartum plans that are just like flying out the window, and taking the time to like process that. And I think it's like just it's a lot to take on, but
Mhm.
knowing that the support is out there, which I think
Yeah.
is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. Well, and that's what I'm learning too. I just got off a call for a consult for a potential virtual client. And one of their questions was like, what's the benefit? And in fact, the labor I just did, guys, I just labored for 48 hours with a client
Wow.
whom hired me prior to their birth, thinking that I would get to actually be there in person. And so one of the conversations we had was, and they flat out asked me, like, I just don't see how it's the same. It's not what I was expecting. I was expecting you to get to be there the whole time. And
Right.
I'm like, yeah, I mean, of course, that's what I want too. But at the same time, that's just not our reality. So given that that's been taken away, it's like, okay, so how do we adapt? And you can either, guys, this goes for you too, what I'm learning is you can either resist it and say, nope, I'm not going to change. I'm going to dig my feet in. This is just the way it is. I'm going to like stick in my ways. Or you can be resistant to change where you're like, I will like kind of change here and I'll kind of like do some things here, but at the same time, like I still want to maintain. Or you can really use this time to innovate and to really allow yourself to grow and be pushed creatively in whatever role you're in. That's as a parent with what postpartum support or postpartum period looks like. It's in challenging yourself in new ways. It's like, even we'll get into baby products, guys. And guys, we are talking virtual baby showers today because I personally am desperate to know your input because I have to plan one of these for my sister. So we're getting there. But you know, I think that for all of us, that change can be hard, and it is hard, and that's okay. But at the same time, it's turning it into fruit and being flexible and going with the flow. Guys, this is why I say, as my main resource, my main number one tip for you is to be able to flex and flow. And so we are really being forced to do that here, right? All of us.
Yes.
So can we talk virtual baby showers, please? So all of you guys, and first of all, I want to acknowledge that loss. I also want to say that we have support groups open on my website right now. I have partnered with Alyssa Berlin, who is a perinatal psychologist here in LA, and weekly we are going through different topics online. And the first one is managing grief, loss, and change. And how appropriate is that for this time period, right? And so one of those changes and one of those losses is the baby shower, is the meeting the baby, is like my sister's even talking about how like we don't even know if her in-laws are going to get to meet the baby. And so
she overseas too.
She is now in the States. So my sister, for those of it, you're totally right. So I kind of I've like talked a little bit about her here and there. I announced her pregnancy on an Instagram. Like, no, it's great. No, I love it. It's out there, and I'm about to pimp her out when we're like together, because I'm going to be going there and we'll do stories and I'll update everybody on everything. But she lives in Ecuador, and they are there full time. That's where I grew up. And so they went back after they got married and went to college, went back there. They, on a whim, it was like a last minute thing. The country closed its borders and was like, we're having no more flights out in the next 48 hours. And so I happened to be able to get on the website from here, book them a flight for that night. And she had like all this paperwork to do, all this drama, and they made it in the States. So that was step one. Now step two is just getting me to Minnesota so that I can be there for all of it. So with that being said, we were just talking about that loss and how it's just like you have your first baby one time, and like, you know, whether it's your second, fourth, fifth, millionth baby, like it still is special. That is a human being growing inside of you. And so acknowledging the loss of like, oh my gosh, people aren't going to get to see me really pregnant, and like who knows when they're going to get to meet the baby. And then the like whole baby shower thing is a way to celebrate the pregnancy and celebrate the new life. And it's just sad, you know, and it's a loss. And in grand scheme of things, like first world problems, okay, like recognize, especially coming from a third world country, like I get it, but at the same time, like it's okay that sucks, right? Yeah. So my question for you is, talk me through how people are doing this. How do you plan a virtual baby shower? Like, what do we need to know? I'm like genuinely like, I have my notes here and I'm like, about to plan my sister's baby.
Don't get like crazy, because it's very much like
not that hard.
Same lines of a real
good
shower. I mean, I think everyone's become like Zoom experts here. You know, and I think going back to what you said, holding space for that loss is totally okay. And you can like process that, and you can be sad about it, and you can cry about it. And then you kind of pick yourself up and you figure out what, you know, it's going to look like moving forward. You know, and you deserve to be celebrated. And so I think, you know, instead of trying to cancel or feeling like, oh, it's too much or whatever, just try and make it a virtual option. And then potentially doing like a sip and see after, which I don't know if everyone knows what a sip and see is. They're kind of like becoming a little more popular, but I think it originated in the South actually. And this is a party or a viewing of the baby after the baby's been born. So you come, everyone comes together, you get your drinks, your food, and everyone just kind of like oohs and ahs over the baby, and mom gets a break and she can have a glass of wine, which is nice.
Yeah.
So So yeah, I mean, there's still that option. It's not like if you don't have an actual baby shower, there isn't an opportunity to celebrate after the fact. So I'm actually doing a blog post coming up on a sip and
Okay.
see. Very timely. This was actually written before this all happened. So, but yeah, so going back to the virtual shower, I mean, obviously work with your hosts. You know, if you've had your registry already, communicate with your guests that obviously this is not happening and we are going to move this and shift this over to a virtual option. Zoom is great. I think there's like other platforms as well. But you know, people are eager to not only like celebrate you and get you things, but this is also a great opportunity to support local business, which I think obviously everyone is kind of suffering. And so when I work with clients, while I love using universal registries like Babylist, Amazon, all of those, when I know that a client's large like guests and party are all in the same city, I like to figure out what their local boutique is and where they shop and where they can go try their things, and potentially also putting things on from their local stores. So that's like really important, and I think a really nice way to give back to business and community during this time.
Yeah.
But then also just making it a big virtual shower. So everyone's going to ship their gifts to you directly. So make sure your address or whatever your shipping, you know, instructions are included. And then either you can open everything with everyone there, or it can just be an impromptu like party just to kind of like celebrate and hang out. I'm actually celebrating a birthday during quarantine, and I've been thinking about, God, like so many people from so many different backgrounds. I want all of my friends to be there. Not everyone knows each other. You know, maybe figuring out some cool like icebreakers, figuring out some games to do. You can still do things online. But like I might be doing like a dance class, you know, getting
oh my gosh, that's
like,
such a good idea.
like TikTok dances, you know, like something really funny. So I think there's a really a lot of just like creative, fun ways to make this like still about you, and it's essentially just taking the same thing and just like moving it on. So,
well, and I was thinking like, you know, that game that it's like where you where you guess what the answer is about like the couple or the baby or their like their name or whatever, like like people could put it in the chat box on Zoom, and then you have like a winner that gets like a something. And then like I was thinking too that like having them send in words of encouragement or words for the baby, you know, and my family we like have a faith background, so we'll probably pray over them and you know, try to make it special. My sister's probably on here at some point. She's gonna be like, oh well, that's not a surprise anymore. Sorry, Hannah.
I mean, whatever it is to like normalize the situation. I mean, can you imagine? I feel so lucky that we have the technology that we have. Like, imagine if we didn't have this.
No, I agree. So we're so blessed. We are so blessed.
We're in such a better position. It's just incredible and really kind of eye-opening to see how much connection and how much opportunity there is just online. So
totally.
Not really kind of like out there ideas, but it's
and I think it's just like, even just to normalize it, to say like, look, it looks the same. It's just, you just move it here. And I mean, I guess there's like, I just want to touch people. Like I want to hug them, and like, I'm going to have to get over that loss because I'm also going to a place where like, I'm seeing people that I haven't seen in a while. So anyway, I'm seeing people in the chat box say like, you can also record it, which is fun. Like what a added perk that you can save it for the future. Yep. Cool. Well, I have some questions from Instagram, and then I will scroll through. So if you guys have specific baby product questions, that's what I want to focus on, because I am not claiming to be an expert on baby products. I definitely have like my things that like I love and I recommend.
For sure.
But you're the person. So, and anytime I have a question, guys, PS, she gets a text from me. So if you are looking for a go-to, this is your girl. I know that you have like 20-minute sessions that you can do with people or whatever. But we're going to get some good info out, and I'm going to hit you with the questions.
Yeah, let's do it.
Boppy pillow.
Yes.
Worth it or not? I have my opinion on this one.
God. I mean, I hope none of the brands are watching.
Well, I don't care. It's my channel. I don't care, guys. I'm all about the truth.
I know.
If I don't like something, I'm like, oh my God, waste of your money. Like, save your money.
You know, I really love to be like unbiased, but I'm going to just kind of throw my own personal opinion out there because I think that's what people want.
I like it. Please.
I don't love the boppy.
Me neither. In fact, I hate the boppy. You will never see me promote the boppy on my channel. I'm so serious. Guys, do not get a boppy. Okay? Real talk.
Why do you hate the boppy?
It just is dumb. Like it slides around and it's kind of slippery and it doesn't fit people and like it doesn't stay and it's like bulky. It doesn't smush. Like you need it to kind of either be moldable or be like shaped right.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the problem that I found where it's shaped weird. So the baby is always like
sliding in
inward.
Yes.
Yeah. And
I love it. I love it. Okay. So what breastfeeding pillow would you recommend? Because I also saw in your story, you were talking to some other person and you'd recommended some sort of pillow. So and I was like, wait, what is this
awesome thing? Not many people know about it. People know more so this brand. It's called Biba or Bayaba. I don't know. It's from Europe. And they do this really incredible baby cooker, like 2-in-1, which is really great for baby food. I love it because it's both a steamer and a pureer in one.
Okay.
So I'm all about just like keeping your kitchen clean and like, you don't want to like bust out like pans and
5,000 things.
5,000 things. No. And so they actually make other baby products. And one is the pregnancy pillow that also serves as like a nursing pillow. And my past client, like out of the blue, just like was raving about it today. I actually forgot about it. Because when I work with clients, it's very much customized to their personal lifestyle. So like what their day-to-day looks like, what their values, their budget, their circumstances. And so it's different for everyone. I don't just like slap the same registry over and over onto like, you know, everything.
Yeah. So I appreciate that.
I forgot about it because I'm in the business of product discovery and I'm always like, what's new? Sometimes I forget old things. But anyway, so she reminded me. So this is a really great option. I also love the Nook makes a like non-toxic organic nursing pillow that I love. It's kind of like a pebble, funny grain material, but they also do mattresses and they do like activity mats. So I pretty much anything that's going to be touching a baby for like a prolonged period of time, I like to go as organic as possible. So that's like the mattress, the nursing pillow, the early clothing, if possible. Just because their bodies and their systems are so immature. It's not like you can't look at them like as little like adults, like they're inhaling, they're breathing in, they're absorbing. It's different. So anything that I think, again, extended periods of time, go organic if possible.
Okay. I love that.
Options.
Biba
I used
and Nook.
I use the breast friend, but when we talk about materials, it's a foam insert, and foam is not our friend in those early days.
Okay. So I also agree. I think the design of the My Breast Friend is good. Like and it works and people like it or whatever. But if we're talking non-toxic, we're gonna stick with the Nook or the Biba.
I don't know if the Biba is non-toxic.
But you like the Biba.
I do like it. And I like a twofer in general. Like you'll see me recommend.
I love me a twofer for like, sure.
Or a threefer even. Like get me through the first year with the same thing that does multiple things, multiple uses.
Totally.
So.
Okay. All right. That's fair. Yeah. Okay. So the next one was your favorite breast pump.
Well,
I have my opinion on this one as well.
So I don't really have a favorite. This is the breast pump where I get a little bit crazy. I'm like, I like a travel one. I like a manual hand pump. Like I like it because there's so many situations you'll find yourself in, whether you're in the house or out of the house, that like different pumps serve different purposes. So seeing a lot of the wireless options, the LV, the Willow, those are the two kind of top of mind. I'm sure there are other ones that are out there coming out. Those are really great for people who are just like on the go, freelancers, they travel a lot, like they can't like just be connected with a plug somewhere.
Yep.
The main difference between those two is the Willow requires special bags, which you have to purchase separately.
And they're expensive.
They're expensive, but also it's single-use plastic. So again, going back to that like environmental, if that like bothers you a little bit, maybe not for you. The LV is cool because you can also just buy one if you want to. You don't have to buy the pair, which cuts down on cost. So it's a little more budget friendly and doesn't require special bags. I haven't used either one of them. And I think it's a little bit of a slimmer, like quieter design, which we're going to see V2, V3, V7, whatever, all of these. So that's my initial, just like feature specific feedback.
Yep. I personally, to chime in, my favorite is the LV over the Willow. I feel like my clients get better breast milk supply. Like they get more breast milk, especially even the ones like I have a few that have both. And they're like, oh, hands down, every single one of them have talked about the LV. PS, guys, I will link all this stuff below. We'll go back and I'm writing it down, LV, of the things that we're talking about so that you can go to the links or whatever. And so LV is mine. I prefer that over the Willow. And then you don't need the disposable bags. It's just, you like dump it and you're clean it and you're good.
Right.
Other breast pump, like just a regular wired breast pump.
You know,
I have my
like
preference
the
too.
Medela pump and style. I like Medela mostly because, especially during this time when it could be harder to get things shipped to you, Medela is like available everywhere. So I think for the convenience,
more universal.
More universal. I also found it easier to use. I use the Spectra, for example. I love the Spectra initially, but it's very manually operated and you have to like adjust it. And all of a sudden I got to a point, because your milk production changes over time. And by the way, I consider it an extended breastfeeder. I have a 3-year-old. I occasionally still breastfeed him. I also did a
great
post on this because I was the last person on earth to think that I would be breastfeeding like my man child. But my milk has changed over time. And so all of a sudden I found the Spectra like really hard to like use and adjust for me. And it's a smaller company. It was harder to get in touch with customer service. So again, Medela, there's a problem. If you need something, it's just
that's fair.
Easier. And you know, just want to remind everyone that a breast pump is free through your health insurance. Yes.
So also, guys, if you're getting towards the end of your pregnancy, people ask me if you should be ordering your breast pump prior to birth or wait till after. I say prior because you don't know what's going to happen with your birth, and you could end up with a NICU stay. You could end up having breastfeeding issues and wanting/needing to pump from the beginning. So it's better just to have it, but you don't have to bring it to the hospital with you. So you can leave it at home. And then they have hospital pumps there, especially in this time when you're trying to avoid bringing stuff.
I do love the Symphony, which is the hospital breast pump you'll see.
That one's like $2,000.
Covered by insurance. I've had some people where that's covered by insurance or other people can rent it. And if you're like working at home and like, it could be worth that investment. Also, what are your thoughts about bringing the pump to the hospital? Because sometimes I tell clients to bring it because it's easier to figure out how it works while you're there, and there's lactation consultants who can help. And
I tell people not to because especially during this time, you want to avoid bringing anything extra because it just is chance of picking up germs and bringing it back to home with you. And second of all, they have pumps there. So if you need to pump in the hospital, just use theirs and they'll get you set up with it. The other thing is, as long as you're taught like the basics of how to use a breast pump while you're in the hospital, most of it carries over. You know, a lot of it's just like reading the manual and stuff. And the other thing is, us nurses, we're not taught how to use anything other than the Medela. And even then, like the one that they have at the hospital, honestly, I never got a tutorial on it. I had to figure it out myself.
Right.
So you're not really like maybe a lactation consultant, but especially in this time, like I think about like there's lots of places where you only see a lactation consultant if you have issues. Like they're not going to probably take the time. Siri thinks I'm talking to her. I don't know where that picked up, but they're not probably going to take the time to work with you on that unless you get lucky. And so it's just one more thing to lug around. And like, and the other thing is, I think people get tempted to use it in the hospital when, like, really, guys, you don't need to be pumping from the beginning. We can talk about that. But the best way to get started breastfeeding is to force yourself to learn and force your baby to learn at your breast. And then you supplement with the pump as needed. But
Right.
it's easy to get dependent on the pump because you see the milk and you're like, oh my gosh, that milk, it's there. I know I have this much. Rather than learning to trust your body and trusting those signs that your baby's getting enough, which, by the way, I have a video on, and I just released another one yesterday on how to increase your supply. So, a pump is awesome. We're so grateful for a pump. I say bring your nursing bra to the hospital, not your nursing bra, your pump bra to the hospital, just in case, because you don't want to have to like hold it on yourself the whole time. But that's my 2 cents. And I love the Spectra. I usually recommend it. Yeah. Mind you, I love Medela too. I just think that Medela, like, I feel like Medela's done really well at branding and marketing. And so I like, there's a small piece of me that also is like loyal to like a smaller brand, because I think that as far as my clients have gone, especially, I feel like they get more from the Spectra.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
whatever. Well, flex and flow, guys.
The Spectra 1 and Spectra 2. I don't remember which is which, but there's one that is like chargeable and doesn't need to be plugged in, which is nice.
It's one. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And you can lug it around. So
right. Exactly.
Yeah. All right. I am seeing a ton of questions about baby bottles.
Oh.
Which bottles to buy?
So I like this topic because, there's a lot of different bottles, obviously, and baby's going to have their preference. So I always recommend that pick a couple bottles, buy like 1 or 2 max, because babies tell you which one it likes. So don't go get these giant newborn starter packs with like 17 different bottles, and then find out that your baby hates it, and then you're stuck with all these bottles.
I love that.
So there's a bunch of different materials. There's plastic, which is BPA free, but also this goes back to my non-toxic mama kind of like opinion is, the BPA is what used to harden the plastic. There's now something else that's hardening the plastic. So we don't really know what the long-term effects of that is, and if that's going to end up being something like weird. So there's plastic. Then there's silicone, like medical grade silicone, which mimics plastic, but is also like softer and more pliable. Then there's steel, which is like awesome, but it's not see-through. So you have to look on the inside of the bottle to know like how much
at the nipple.
Or you have to like literally open it and look inside and like hold it.
Yeah.
And then there's glass, which I love glass, but it's heavy. So it's going to take baby longer to figure out like how to hold it on its own. And then, there is the like breakability of that ultimately at the end of the day. So those are the 4 like materials that
I love it. I didn't even know about stainless steel. What the heck?
Yeah. Okay. There's a brand that I like called, I'm going to like butcher, called like Pura Kiki. Purakiki.
Pura Kiki. That's my Spanish. It's pure Kiki. Funny.
We're getting spicy.
Raw.
But they do not only bottles, but also like sippy cups and straw cups all through like your toddler years. So anyway, that kind of gives you the foundation of like the materials. I don't work with Babylist, so anything that I recommend, I'm not like, I don't have an agenda. What I love about Babylist is Babylist has something called a baby box. And it's like they're 5, they get a lot of data and they know what people are buying and like what works for babies. And they have a box that has 5 of their top selling bottles. And
that's such a good idea.
I know. So I love this box because it gives you like 1 of each of the top bottles, and then you can try each one out. And then once you figure out what baby likes, I had a terrible time with my son who never took a bottle. There's babies who it depends. You have to introduce it at a certain time. It's like very finicky between like nipple versus the bottle nipple. When you introduce it, how often, it's like a science almost. And so I don't know, you probably know more about that, but I really love this box because it's,
That's a great idea.
you know, low commitment, and then you get to like test it out and, you know,
Yeah.
go from there.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah.
What are your dumbest products that you see people buy?
You know, my motto is like one person's don't bother is another
Yeah.
person's must have.
That's fair, fine. But like, what would be something that you're like, okay, guys, I have one that I actually saw. This is why I thought of this question. I saw in
Tell
the
me
feed.
yours first. Maybe it'll jog my.
Tommy TP, the little PPTPs.
Yeah.
Dumbest purchase ever, guys. Like, save your money. They're like, okay, so basically it's like, there's different ones out there that like cover like the little boy's penis so that when you open the diaper, you put it on so you don't get peed on, which in theory is like a really good thought because you don't want to get peed on. But like, I always say you're going to get little 4x4s from the hospital, grab a 4x4 and put it down on top.
Or just a washcloth.
Or like, yeah, like anything, honestly, the wipe you're about to use, put the wipe on top and wipe down with the thingy and then wipe it off with the wipey. Like, do not spend your money on. And mind you, like, that's my opinion.
Okay, so that jogged my memory.
Okay.
I really don't see a point in the nail files that are like the vibrating, like emery board nail files.
Like the $30 electric ones that you like thing? Yes. Which is so funny because I have trashed those in like childbirth classes when they come up. I'm like, give me a break. You're going to spend $30 on a nail file, whatever.
And
like
you have all these little replacement little like boards. And it's like,
so many pieces,
batteries, files. Like I couldn't tell you, like the second we got home, things were just like put down or in a drawer. Like we couldn't figure out where anything was. Like, I love the Nose Frida, but like the Nose Frida also has those little foam like replacement things. Could never find them. So we've had the same foam thing in there for like years.
The same filter. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. So they're saying they're the Tommy TP bottles. I was thinking that the PPTP things.
Maybe, yeah.
I don't know which ones the Tommy TP bottles are. What are those? Do you know what
people
those are?
love the Tommy TP bottles? I mean,
okay.
I'm not, and they're, you know, I'm not knocking when it comes to bottles, whatever the baby will take.
Yes. Use it.
Plastic.
I agree.
Whatever material is. And that comes down to like all of my product recommendations. Like at the end of the day, if your baby loves it and sleeps, eats, I don't care.
There's nothing worth your mental health.
No.
Yes. Agreed. Somebody said something about a butt spatula.
Oh,
what is that?
I thought that was genius. It's this butt spatula that you put the diaper cream on, so you don't have to put it on your finger and get it like all under your nails. You know, when you like do like the wipe in there. So
first world problems, guys. Wow. If anybody is watching from anywhere else in the world, like this is half embarrassing, half genius.
It sounds like a genius product. I had a little bit of a hard time with it. I got it. I had it.
You did? Oh,
yeah.
Butt spatula. Interesting. How do you guys like that? I'm like scrolling through your questions there. A 4x4 is just a gauze. So like a piece of gauze that you get from the hospital. Okay. Any others that you're like, oh, please don't waste your money. I'm so buying that. I see someone. That's funny.
There's someone who loves their nails. Getting your butt cream under your
I know, I'm with you. Yeah. I see it. I do. I'm just like the third world in me is like, really, we're going to spend money on that? Yeah. The other one that I used to knock was the diaper warmer wipes things, the diaper wipe warmers. That's
like the go-to like knock, but like, you know.
It's kind of nice.
I'd love
a luxury, guys. Luxury, not a necessity.
I've ever sat on one of those Japanese like toilet seats that like heats up and it's like, you know, the whole like the day.
I have actually in some of my clients' houses.
Nice.
I work with very fancy clients where I'm like, what's happening? What is going on my butt? Yes.
I love like amazing. A warm, compress.
Yeah.
You know, give it
okay, fair. Yeah. So luxury, not a necessity. What would you say are like, when I say, what do I need? And I have no money. Okay. Not no money, but like I have a very limited spending capability. when I have my baby, what are your like, I want to say top 5, but I'm flexible on that number. Like what do they need where you're like, guys, this is it. Like mine is a haka for breastfeeding. I'm like, and I know it's not a one size fits all, but I am completely obsessed with the haka. I need them to be a sponsor. Haka, listen to me. I talk about you all the time. Like they're so nice. Y'all are going crazy on the butt spatula. This is so great. I'm going to have to look at these comments later.
The haka was, something we didn't mention in our breast pumping, kind of like hand expressing thing, which if you're just leaving the house, even for like a minute, that baby in your purse. So in terms of must-haves, different for everyone, but I just want to shout out what I think is the most comprehensive baby registry shopping list checklist that includes my whole list plus like a bunch of hacks and tips that I have for building your registry. Because again, in my Google searches, I found all of these checklists. They were all a little bit different. You know, some were missing things. And I was like, I'm going to build what I think is the world's greatest checklist. So for all of the DIYers out there, especially now where we have a little bit more time, go to my site, go to my shop, get the checklist. Like
I'll link her down below.
Yeah.
I'm going to go get the checklist.
What's nice about the checklist is it's good for everyone. It's good for the minimalist. It's good for the person on the budget, all the way through the person who needs every single little thing. Yes. So I put an asterisk, for example, next to the must-haves, like bare minimum. So you at least know exactly what you need just to like get started, like your starter kind of. The haka for sure. I mean, you need diapers, you need wipes. I also want to point out that with everything going on, Amazon is on like a crazy delay. So things that were 2 days are now taking a month. So you want to like factor that into your kind of planning. Especially with like your baby shower registry, all of that kind of thing. Like if there are things that you know you're going to need, like just get it on your own.
Get it now. Yeah.
Also with like nursery furniture, things like that. Sorry. You know, there's lead times for all of that potentially. Like, you know,
do they need a crib right now?
No, you don't need a crib right now. No.
Hear the experts speak.
No,
I say the same thing.
I mean, you need a bassinet.
You need something to put the baby in for sure. Yes.
And that's good for 6 months. 4 to 6 months. I don't know. I mean, for me, I get it. You want to have your nursery. You want to like walk into the room. You want to see everything in there. You want to take pictures, you know, that
nest.
Totally. So that's fine. But the bassinet is a must have. Diapers and wipes. Obviously you want to have like your initial kind of layette, which is like a funny word for your newborn layette. It's French. I don't know.
That sounds French.
It's your newborn kind of initial wardrobe. So, again, on my checklist, but it's also like, you know, how many tops to have, how many pajamas, how many of this and that. So there's like some basics that you want to get, but I suggest like getting things like up to 6 months right now. Just like have everything for the first 6 months because we just don't know what's happening. Let's see what else. I mean, like your diaper caddy, like having, I love a diaper caddy. And I also love, and I'm kind of going off on a tangent here, but
whatever.
You know, you have your diaper changing station in the nursery, but a lot of the times you're hanging out in the living room or wherever else you can. So you don't want to have to get up every time, especially if it's like second story or whatever, and use the same spot. So you're going to find yourself just changing your baby on the couch, you know, wherever you are. So have a little kit of like your essentials, like a duplicate shoved under your couch.
Love it. That's what I tell everybody. I'm like, that is postpartum survival is the diaper caddy. Have a couple of all your supplies so you don't have to like get up in the middle of it. Like sit up, put your baby between your legs, change the diaper, throw it on the ground and put them back in the bassinet and go back to sleep.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'm with you.
It's nice to have everything like all pretty, but when it comes down to it, it's
survival.
It It is.
Yeah. I also want to note that I think too, like, especially if you're on a budget, I would say, and you can object, is a pack and play is a really good investment because it doubles as a crib, as a bassinet, as a changing table. It moves around, it packs up for like smaller
there's
spaces.
ones that are like, you know, multifunctional that have like a bassinet mode and then a kind of pack and play / crib mode. Also like a mini crib can also serve as kind of like an internal solution. And that's something that you can like, also the pack is nice if like you do have a caregiver and once we're allowed to like commingle with our family, you know, throwing that in your car, bringing it to grandma's house, things like that. That's a really good one. Obviously you need a car seat, obviously you need a stroller.
Definitely.
And that's, you know, that's going to be different for everyone. There's all kinds of questions to ask yourself. I don't know if we have time to even get into that, but
I feel like that's like a whole separate YouTube. If you guys want something, like if you want us to come back and talk strictly strollers and car seats, I feel like we could do that as like a whole separate session, but definitely you need one.
Yes.
You know,
you can't leave the hospital without one. So
yes. Okay. This is like, we should wrap up because we've been on here a hot second. I so appreciate your time. We could just keep talking forever, right?
Iceberg, I know.
No, it really is just touching on it. So, and guys, like I said, this was like a very spontaneous live.
A bi-weekly segment where we
right. Like our show, the baby product show. I found a brand of diapers I haven't had a client use, but I did some research on and like seem really solid as far as, especially like with the non-toxic type thing, is Diaper, Dyper.
Yes.
Have you heard of them?
I have. I don't know too much about them. What is?
So I guess they're like another non-toxic brand that also is a subscription. And what jogged my mind on it was with the whole Amazon thing that like Amazon normally has subscriptions where they send you diapers on the regular and like all of us Amazon, all the things. But right now with Amazon being so backed up, diaper might be a great option, especially for a non-toxic subscription-based diaper plan. And I mean, everything I've heard, now mind you, again, I haven't had a client use them, but from my own research, I'm like, what is this? The other non-toxic brand I usually tell people about is Bamboo.
Yes.
For diapers.
Right?
No, what else?
Bombo.
Oh, I thought it was Bamboo, but I mean,
yes.
I'll link it down below.
Yeah, there's a number of options. I love that you brought that up because it's also something that I recommended to a client, like looking at a subscription because babies are going through about like, I think 1,000 diapers within the first 6 months. So nobody wants 1,000 diapers sitting around in their house. That extra space. So a subscription is a really great option. There's also a brand that I love called Abby and Finn, who does a subscription, and they also have like a give back model, which I think is like nice and modern and relevant to you know the world. And then also Hello Bello has like a really great option, and I love Pampers Pure. I don't think they have a subscription thing, but we're seeing so many more options, which I think is nice. The subscription stuff definitely makes stuff easier, so you're not having to like hoard, you know, all of the things.
And you don't have to think about it with mommy daddy brain, you know.
Right. Yes.
Love it. Cool. Well, thank you so much. This was so fun. I want to keep talking to you forever, and I'm sure everybody else does as well. Guys, I will save this, and this will be available on my channel for however long. We're going to have to, I want you to stay on so we can take a screenshot for like the photo.
Just to add though, because you mentioned, you know, I am doing these Ask Me Anything sessions. So people have to commit to like a whole plan. If you have like 2 questions, 5 questions, whatever it is, you can put them in like 15-minute increments for $20. And I've done them, like I just came out with that. It's just like a newer, you know,
I should do that.
Yeah. And I've done a couple.
That's a good idea.
Say every time the client is like, this was the best. But I also do a registry review session. So if you want to like really dig into your registry, identify what's really great. I also recommend some swaps, alternatives, considerations, and then also everything that you're missing, which is always like a big column of things. So.
Well, and you don't know what you don't know.
Exactly.
And so to have somebody, it's like me with birth. It's like you don't know what you don't know. And I can teach you all the things, but birth always goes differently. And
Right.
so that's why you do all the prep ahead of time. And then you have that person that you can call on that is the expert
Right.
in that realm.
Yeah.
And I do not claim to be that person. I definitely have my things, but nothing
I have
like
to
you.
say, my last client called me and I now have like stolen it. I'm Google and your best friend in one. So, and bestie. I know, I almost cried.
Oh, that is such good branding. I love it. That's going to be your new tagline. How great. What a compliment. That's so awesome. So best way to contact, guys, I see someone asking about contact. I will link everything in the description box down below. Give me a little bit. I'm going to find some links and we'll do some work on the description piece of this.
Sure.
But this will be available if you want to contact her, if you want to contact me. Just know I also have some new things, guys. I have a new infant safety and CPR class on my website, all online. That one is like gold. I feel like if you're going to do anything, you need to do a childbirth class and then everything else is kind of supplemental. I also have support groups that just came out. And if you are worried about laboring in the time of Corona, I have a new curriculum. They're live classes so that you can ask questions, we can interact, and you can get all your questions answered specifically for those of you who are going to be delivering in the time of Corona. So you can go to my website. Everything will be linked down below. Make sure you subscribe. Thank you so much, Molly. And until next time, don't forget to flex and flow, and we will see you soon.
Love it.
Bye, guys.
Bye.